No, they want 16,000. Okay, well, you know what? Mass supply weekly. So we get 2,000 per week, which, I mean, that seems pretty low. Oil, okay, we got a bunch of shit coming on. Oil prices skyrocket. The Dow Jones Industrial Average suffered its worst single-day point ever, smashing through records set earlier this month, as instability in the Saudi government rattled investors who have already been panicked over the coronavirus epidemic. The blue chip index neared bear territory amid mounting fears about a global recession, plunging record-breaking 2,013.76 points, or 7.8%, to close at 23,851.02. The Nasdaq dropped 7.3%. The S&P 500 lost 7.6%. The worst day since December of 2008. After diving 7% in the opening minutes of trading season, triggering a New York Stock Exchange circuit breaker that had halted trading for 15 minutes, Monday marked the first time the trading curb took effect since the current thresholds were implemented in 2013 to avoid a repeat of 1987's Black Monday crash. The price of oil shot up to $117.14 US dollars per barrel as disruptions across Saudi Arabia halted production, as the Saudi oil fields churned to a halt and other countries struggled to keep up production amid shutdowns and worker shortages. It seems that the recessionary periods is all but certain. Excellent. So this is the diversion point in history. Everything after here is alt history. Fantastic. I was going to say, like, I don't remember this happening. Okay, the oil crisis hit America. As if the economic situation in America could not get any worse, the collapse of Saudi Arabia has created an oil panic that has placed the last nail in the coffin of our anemic economy. While Saudi Arabian oil only consisted of around 21% of our total imported oil in 2019, our other main sources have cut production due to the COVID-19 pandemic. And a few, namely Russia and Mexico, have reacted to the Saudi civil war by raising prices exponentially. Domestic oil production is not at the current level necessary to offset nearly 40% of domestic oil consumption provided by imports. Wall Street has been nothing short of a pandemonium. Whether tepid economic gains were made after the initial lockdowns have been wiped out, as mass closures once again hit Main Street, USA. The trucking industry, previously in full operation as an essential service, is now undergoing mass layoffs due to exploding gasoline prices. Food is rotting in warehouses because no one can transport it. Grocery stores have announced that branches will be shut down nationwide unless the situation changes rapidly. Coupled with the COVID pandemic, the new oil crisis has decimated what remains of the U.S. economy. Investor optimism is at an all-time low, with some polls even showing worse sentiment than at the height of the 1929 crash. Food and medicine shortages, the likes of which America has never seen, have hit much of the mountain west and Appalachia. Meanwhile, rationing has been instituted across the country in all but name. Given the scarcity of many basic staples, people have been forced to break pandemic curfews to go out and search for supplies, aggravating the spread of the virus. Resource gain minus 30%. Consumer goods 30%. Very, very cool. Very, very happy to see it. We have lost more trade. And the Atomwaffen Division disbands. Starting as an online group of racist teenagers and commentators, and spreading to a much darker, grimmer, and more militant group, the Atomwaffen Division has grown greatly within the past 6 years. Starting out as 13 close friends shooting guns in their backyard, the group has exponentially expanded to hundreds of members and thousands of sympathizers due to the recent racial tensions, according to the FBI. Much of Atomwaffen Division's growth has been credited to James Mason, a neo-Nazi accelerationist famous for his hit underground book, Siege. After taking control in 2017, initiated a massive purge of glowies. Since then, Atomwaffen has been operating, recruiting in open, and spreading its violent, hateful rhetoric across the country. Yesterday, they have announced that on its website that they will be disbanding effective immediately, with little explanation given. Many anti-fascist figureheads celebrated, saying that this is a major victory, while many are skeptical, claiming that Atomwaffen and its ally groups are simply moving further underground, and they are still a present threat. I mean, I'll take the 1% stability. I'm sure nothing bad could possibly happen. We want to fuel the machine. We get some more money. Political power plus 50. Sure, let's fuel the machine. Decisions available. Prevent outbreak. How is... So you have 4 days until you're ready to go. Prolong impeachment. We can't do that quite yet. Insufficient resources. Do I have, like... Can I trade anything? Can I trade with Japan? No, I have no factories. See, okay, so we're actually, like, maxed out. Very, very, very cool. We love to see it. We can send more supplies to Colorado. Apparently, we just, like, love Colorado. You know what? Congratulations to Wyoming. You will get some masks this time. Statewide coronavirus outbreak. Approved rating goes up by 0.01%. COVID cases have now increased. We have lost even more trade. I'm very happy. But our troops have returned home. The amount of COVID-19 cases throughout the nation have drastically increased, leading to increase in quarantines and calls in sick, which is slowing our economy down. The Trump virus strikes again. Okay, so our extra units, we will just send them to Brown Army, but they actually can't support that many troops. We'll send one over to Blue. Protest. Oh yeah, we want to do. Can we? Yeah, let's prolong impeachment. Oh yeah, is this approval for me? Right now we have a 0% chance that we actually win the election. Okay. The approval rating moves 5% lower. Why would I want to do this? It doesn't seem like anybody actually likes that. So let's fund the media. 14 days on you. That's no problem. Actually, let me just switch you like this. There we go. We're gonna outbreak in Nebraska next. We really, really love flyover country here. Mostly because we can't afford, we don't have enough mass to send into anywhere that actually matters. Unfortunately. Okay, our units are still, I mean, we're still holding on, which I think is nice. The Dow has crashed 2,000 points. The Dow Jones Industrial Average suffered its worst single-day drop point ever, especially through record set earlier this month. The oil price war rattled investors who have already been panicking over the coronavirus epidemic. The blue chip index, excuse me. The blue chip index neared bear territory amid mounting fears about the global recession. Plunging a record, wait, have you already seen this? Am I crazy? Oh, no, it's very similar. It's slightly different, but it looks very similar. Oh god, the red line is going down. So I'm assuming Saudi Arabia at some point is going to break out into civil war, but I'm not too sure. Unemployment has hit 20%. In a shocking report by the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the unemployment rate of the United States has hit 20% for the first time since the Great Depression. Levels 6% higher than the peak of the Great Recession. The shocking report left financial markets reeling, with projected unemployment landing around 18 million. With the coronavirus pandemic in full swing, and the service sector losing critical jobs at a time where consumer spending has been increasingly low, a contradiction of the economy was all but expected. However, combined with the oil crash just a mere 2 weeks ago, the trucking and transportation sector has gone under massive layoffs, ones that have left millions of working Americans suddenly out of a job and stranded at the side of the streets. The Trump administration has attempted to shift blame onto the Democrats, while blame is being put on the COVID-19 lockdowns and the entanglement with foreign trade. While Democrats have blamed Trump's incompetency and over-reliance on oil for the cascading effect of the oil crisis. Alongside the infighting among the American establishment, both the far right and the far left have seen surges in membership, with Americans feeling helpless with the government policy, frozen among congressional bickering, and wishing for a radical change to solve some radical problems. Okay. Since 3 days left on you. Okay. Oh, we can do a raid? I don't think we need to raid Mexico. At least not yet. Maybe some point in the future, but I don't think right now is a good time to attack Mexico. Can I... I'm gonna do, like, careful attacks. I don't want to, like, send too much out here. I don't think it's gonna really work for us. Okay. Next up, we still have low approval. Let's protest the government a little bit more. We're at medium. That gives us a 50-50 chance of... Wait. On the conclusion of the countdown day mission, one of the two options will happen. 50% chance to remove 56 states of the mission, inevitable civil war. And 50% chance Biden has been certified president. Oh, no, so it's a 50-50 whether or not who's going to win right now. From riches to rags. He started... he stared. Heart sunken and jaw dropped to the sight of the red number before him. The Dow Jones was down. It was down the worst it ever been in history. Down from 30,000 points on Friday to 15,000 today on Monday. It dropped by half. The first 4 days of the Great Depression, it dropped by 25%. At this day in history, it took 2 days for it to drop by 50%. He was now potentially tens of millions of dollars in debt from a weekend. Badwater Trust Company was now nothing. His life's work, gone in a weekend. From poor boy from New Haven to living incarnate of the Wolf of Wall Street, back to nothingness again. He walked in from his $88 million mansion overlooking the Hudson in his impeccably tailored suit and drove his Lambo down the Henry Hudson Parkway to his towering office, smack dab in the center of Lower Manhattan. He didn't even bother to park properly, just walked in. Every employee passed stared in amazement as actually seeing him, the boss. Each and every one had been out of a job within a week, from the janitor to the vice chairman of the board. He got into the elevator and used a special key to allow himself to go to the roof level, where the ride up was the longest of his life. It wasn't long before he's at the roof now, overlooking the broad scheme of skyscrapers around him. The distant sea farther in the background. The weather today was fittingly overcast and dreary. He stepped to the edge of the rooftop, looking at far-flung ground. He said a prayer to God in the first time in several decades, hoping that he'd get past the pearly gates for his mortal sin of seemingly infinite greed. He gathered his nerves, adjusted his tie, and he took a leap into the icy blast. Fantastic. He really went to work just to kill himself, man. That's crazy. I mean, maybe that's how we'll all go out one day. Who knows? Okay. South African. Okay, wait. So who's in charge of South Africa now? Oh, the Wagner Group. Fantastic. Okay. Decisions. Fighting. Okay, so we have 4,000 masks. We'll send more. See, the problem is that we only get 2,000 per week. So we can only really send it to states that don't have a population. Okay. Raids available. What do you want me to do? No, this is just thing that's ticking down. Okay, we don't have to worry about that too much. But it's currently April. You know, we actually have not looked at the economy minigame yet. Okay, nominal GDP is 21.75 trillion. Real GDP is 21.32. Inflation's at 2%. Money change. We're losing money, which I mean, you know, fair. Modifiers. What if we just don't pay our debt? You know what I mean? What if we just never paid a dollar into it? I think that makes sense. Have you saw what path we're going down yet? I'm probably, people have been saying the PSL path is good. It's because it's either going to be PSL or it's going to be maybe the Jacobins, but I'm not too sure. One of those two, I think. Poverty rates have skyrocketed. A few weeks have passed since the start of the oil crisis, yet the economic situation in the United States looks increasingly bleak. Massive oil shortages have caused massive queues at every gas station, and more businesses are going out of the market by the day due to a decreased business confidence and lower income. With economics predicting that the United States might be heading into a depression similar to that of the oil crisis during the 70s, a mass sell of assets combined with the demand for gold skyrocketing to unprecedented rates. I've lost where I was in this. Okay. Whoopsie. Unprecedented rates. Reports show that due to unemployment, decreased household income, and inflation, the poverty rate in the United States is set to increase to 22%. Numbers unseen since 1959. The political reaction has been quite extreme, as presidential candidate Joe Biden has denounced Trump once more for his don't hit your microphone, for the unstable energy policies and over-reliance on oil. Or President Trump has blasted Democrats for their opposition to supply-side policies, such as fracking, destroying the domestic energy industry. On the extremes, the Patriot Front has thrust into the limelight once more as they draw massive crowds in the controversial march in Boston. Clad in blue jackets, khakis, sunglasses, and tan hats, their provocative banners blaming globalism has caused many disgruntled Republicans to join their ranks. Meanwhile, far-left organizations such as the Party for Socialism and Liberation have organized demonstrations echoing the popular sentiment expressed in the Occupy Wall Street protests, blaming the greed of the capitalist system for the economy. Despite decades of entrenched anti-communist sentiments in the United States, it seems that their membership numbers are skyrocketing as well. As extreme and poverty is gripping the United States, many fear the worst is yet to come. Personal value, minus 0.2 billion, replace growing middle class with moderate income hardships. Fantastic. PSL. Oh yeah, sure, why not? Well, we'll do PSL, which is led... Is it... Who was in charge of the PSL in 2020? Wasn't it Gloria Del Rivia? Something like that? I believe so. Yeah, well, sure. We'll do PSL. People have been saying that's a good path, so we'll go with them. Sorry, just 1 second. But yeah, I don't have any real problem one way or the other. Okay. We fueled the machine. Follow that up with... Okay, massive riots are still not in effect. So you know we'll expand the CDC. We'll get more approval rating. We'll activate the vaccine research, increase mass production. Okay, fantastic. That's kind of something that we do need to know. That is great for us. Can I take another decision here? We got 9 days left on you. $250 billion? We get 40 political power. I don't even know where we're actually going to spend this political power on. Because I really don't see too much. Like, okay, we'll send some masks to Dakota. I think that seems okay. But we need, like, bigger numbers. The biggest numbers that we could possibly have. Okay, COVID cases have increased once again. The Trump virus doesn't end, baby. Does not end. So do you do... Maybe the disease tooltip just doesn't actually work. At least not yet. Also, I can't tell if we're winning or losing in Libya. I think we're doing, like, okay. Now, we have lost 558 manpower. Which, you know what? Not that bad. Not that bad. When does the mod start going off the rails? I believe it after the election is when things start going truly a little wacky. A little wacky there. COVID virus affected states is currently at 7. I mean, it seems like it's basically everywhere. Okay, so we once again want to... I mean, we spent $250 billion to fuel the machine. Fortify the election. If we don't have at least 6% approval rating by the time votes are counted, there will be disastrous consequences. Yeah, sure, why not? 2020 flashbacks? I mean, it is 2020, so... The flashbacks are apt. So we need 60%. 60% is at, like, very high approval. Which, I mean, doesn't seem like it's going to be extremely likely to happen. We're only at 1.1. So we have a long way to go. And it's May. Like, we're already, like, halfway there. Okay. With the COVID-19 pandemic in full swing, workers in the Freeport Complex chemical plant have gone on strike to protest wage stagnation amid high inflation and unsafe working conditions. Following a decision to include chemical plant workers in the definition of necessary workers, as many as 9 workers have already died from COVID-related health problems, prompting the strike. Security personnel from the Dow Jones Chemical Company had attempted to remove the strikers from the premises to little success, following a 2-hour standoff with the armed strikers and private security forces. The strike has received nationwide attention due to the chemical plant being one of the largest production facilities in the Western Hemisphere, producing ethylene, propylene, polyethanol, and propylene oxide. Following a failed negotiation, 14 hours after the initial standoff, the local union representative heightened the tensions by publicly supporting the rhetoric from the Center of Political Innovation, a far-left radical organization associated with the American Jacobin movement. This escalation has allowed the Trump administration to label the group as communist radicals and threaten to use force to break the strike. Okay, so the Jacobins. Anti-revisionist. The moderate wing, Democratic Socialist of America, Democratic Party. Who's fighting in Libya? Well, it's so Libya right now, it's me, Turkey, Italy, Germany, the British, and Algeria all supporting the Tripoli government. And on the other side, it's Russia, Sudan, Iran, Egypt, and for France, for some reason, they decided to just go on the other side. Just, I think, to be a little bit different. They're French. It is just kind of like what they do. Freeport Complex strike broken. Following 4 days of failed negotiations, the sit-in strike at the Freeport Complex chemical plant has been broken as security forces of the Dow Chemical Company had dispersed the strike by force. The company, Dow Chemical, has announced that all the workers who participated in the strike will be laid off for breaking company policy, as well as hiring over 300 new engineers and technicians to replace those who have been fired. With the end of the strike, public opinion is painfully split. The left blames the Democrat inaction to prevent the government-sponsored crackdown, and anger directed the company for violation of workers' rights. Meanwhile, the right has praised Trump for the fight against communism and announced that the strike is anti-worker due to his allegiances to the CPI. Regardless, many worry that the new workers are not up to par with the old ones and will cause significant risk to production. Gaddafi's son is the leader of the Tobruk movement. I think that makes sense. He does have, like, the Gaddafi's Ghost modifier. Lawless desert, war exhaustion. Can I, like... Thing is, though, like, I don't want to kill these French troops, but France, like, brought it upon themselves, right? That's kind of... like, what do you want me to do, France? They're just having a silly little time? I mean, they shouldn't. That's kind of the problem here. What if we move our way, we take Benghazi, we just move straight to Tobruk? What is their, what do they capitulate at? 25%? I mean, it's an idea. Will it work? I do not know. I mean, we need to push some pressure here. I think that's the only thing that makes sense. So if you expand the CDC, meet in the middle, high expectations. COVID-19 is the deadliest disease the world has faced in decades. Compromise with political convenience would be useless in fighting it. Okay. 20% chance they reject it. 80% chance of GDP. Okay, so if they reject this negotiation, then we're gonna get a lot more popularity, and that's fine. We kind of want the we want to be popular. We want the GOP to be the grouse old party because they're stinky, and they don't support us. High gun antennas. Let's go for thermal optics. You have 3 more days left until you're ready to go. Prolong impeachment. Why would you ever take this? It has 35 days. Okay, so it actually makes this take longer. Okay, I mean, I guess that's something. Protest the government. Why would you ever take it? Like, it's twice the cost, but it's more than twice the value. So why would you ever protest when you can do some humiliation? We're going to wait the 1 day. We're going to humiliate the opposition. You know, I think that just makes sense. There we go. And Richmond police have killed unarmed black protester. Yesterday evening, a 24-year-old black man named Quinton Evans died in police custody in Richmond, Virginia. Evans was walking along the street when he was spotted by a police cruiser who believes he matched a profile of a wanted burglar. Although the identity check confirmed that he was not the burglar, he had a warrant for failing to appear in court for a drug possession charge. He was detained by Sergeant James Harmon and put into the cruiser, where he suffered from a brain hemorrhage and died en route to the police station. Cell phone footage from bystanders, however, revealed a different tale. While performing the arrest, Harmon forcibly pushed Evans' head and body against a brick wall, enough to nearly knock Evans unconscious. He was shoved against the wall again for saying that he was in pain, and his cry of "You're killing me, man," was met with laughing dismissal by Harmon. The footage was posted on social media next morning, resulting in outrage from the black community and local activists. Spontaneous protest has formed at the site of Evans' arrest, as well as outside the Richmond police precincts and City Hall. Approval rating is going to go by 10%. We're going to add raging riots. Population goes down by 30%. We're going to lose even more stability. Decision category deal with the movement. Protests being organized. Fantastic. Well, not fantastic. I mean, it's bad, but... Oh, we have some more options here, though. Okay, fantastic. Purchase mask. Let's buy some mask. Sounds good to me. Fund the movement. We lose... Reduce 2 total days from mission. Protests being organized. Okay. View states with possible movement strongholds. Seems fine for now. The mod doesn't reference the real incident. Well, I mean, that makes sense. I also would not mention it. I would put in a stand-in as well. I mean, it's basically the exact same event. Federal police deployed in Richmond. Political clash in Richmond have been increasing the past few days. Anti-Second Amendment protesters took to looting and setting fire to many businesses in the city. While local police attempted to keep the mass crowd of pro-Second Amendment away, multiple brawls and active shootings were reported. 4 casualties and 89 injuries have been confirmed by media outlets, and federal police of various departments were mobilized and tasked with arresting identified individuals who attempted to set fire to the town hall. Media backlash was quick to follow. Hundreds of pictures of federal officers in tactical gear arresting protesters off the street and dragging them off in unmarked vehicles and promptly driving off. Do you remember when Do you remember when like the George protest actually happened and they burned down the police precinct in Minneapolis, and that had a higher approval rating than both Trump and Joe Biden? It wasn't even like more. It was actually like a majority. Wasn't it like 55%? Were like, yeah, I see why they burned down the police station. Protests in Oregon. Portland, a known hotbed of extremism on the West Coast, has erupted into violent protesting as the movement sweeps across the country. Following the killing of Quinton Evans at the hands of the Richmond Police Department, demonstrators have called for an end to police brutality, systemic racism, and inequality. They also demanded justice for Black Americans who have been victims of police violence. The protests in Portland drew national attention as tensions escalated between protesters and law enforcement. Federal agents were deployed to Portland to protect federal property, but their presence only fueled the protest. Protesters and federal agents engaged in violent clashes, with tear gas and rubber bullets being used by law enforcement. Despite efforts by law enforcement to disperse the protesters, demonstrators in Portland remained steadfast in their cause. The protests continued through the summer and fall, with a number of high-profile incidents and arrests. The protests in Portland and other cities around the country brought attention to the urgent need for police reform and social justice in the United States. Portland will become a movement stronghold. Decisions. We can buy... What do you do? So you're 15,000 mask flat, and then you are 250 week... Wait, is that a permanent? For 35 days, political power goes down by 0.05, weekly masks by plus 250. Implement guidelines. Total of 2 days. Well, we'll just buy more masks. So right now we have 37,000. So you know what? Congratulations, Vermont. You can have some. Oh, we can only send masks to one place at a time. Wonderful. Fantastic. The Saudiest king is dead. Wait, is it the fucking like the iMessenger sound when you get an event? Did I just notice that now? In today's communique, the government of Saudi Arabia has announced the unfortunate and unexpected demise of the country's ruler, King Salman Al Saud, who had been the king since 2015. Although it avoided stating the exact reason behind his death, many rumors claim that the king had been sick with COVID-19 for months. Hence, he hasn't appeared in public view for a single time this year. This comes as just one tragedy in a spree that hit the kingdom, along with the global coronavirus pandemic and oil crash. And while Mohammed bin Salman Al Saud was quickly sworn in as successor, being the legitimate heir, the level of political suspicion and divide seems to be so great that many can't help but see the taint of conspiracy in this rapid development. Meanwhile, the country is still getting torn to pieces by protests as a consequence of economic and substantial societal collapse, with radical Islamic and Republican sentiments reportedly on the rise. The kingdom has been on the verge of a fatal crisis for a while now, and the king's sudden death might be the test that it will not, that won't surpass. Okay. Fantastic. Decisions available. We'll do mask. Oh, I like no political power. Oh no. Not gonna. I guess reduces 2 total days. So I guess this just goes by faster. We take a small penalty, but this will happen quicker and quicker and quicker. So we have 329 days until we get the vaccines ready to go. Project Warp Speed, ladies and gentlemen. It's a beautiful project. We love it. COVID, congratulations, Trump. You've done it again. We'll fund the movement. A nationwide protest. Spurred on by the news of Quinton Evans' death in police custody, anti-police brutality protests have sprung up in Seattle, Portland, San Francisco, Los Angeles, Chicago, New York, Atlanta, Miami, and Washington, D.C., attracting tens of thousands of people more every day. Their demands range from civilian oversight boards for police departments, the greater restitution for victims of brutality, to abolishing city police departments altogether in favor of community aid groups. Footage of Evans' death is spreading across social media like wildfire, along with hashtags like hashtag Black Lives Matter and hashtag You're Killing Us. The Richmond Police Department has announced that they have put Sergeant Towerman in protective custody and are opening a criminal investigation into his actions, but has done little to quell the outrage. It seems that these protests have morphed into reacting to one man's death into a general outpouring of grievances with police departments and the government, and only time will tell how long it'll take for them to dissipate. We're going to lose more stability. Biden, he's currently a high approval. He's currently got a 16.6. Okay, it's not that good. It's not that good. More protest. Following the tragic death of Quinton Evans, an African-American man who died in police custody. I think, okay, so this is just, actually, no, it's slightly different. Protests erupted across the nation. The circumstances surrounding his death are still unclear, but video footage shows an officer kneeling on his neck as he... okay, so this actually is different. This actually is a different event. Because this says kneeling on his neck. The other one said that he got, like, bashed into a wall. Okay. Okay, but the fire has risen. It's rising, ladies and gentlemen. The fire rises. You know what would have been a good thumbnail for the series? Maybe next time we'll have, like, me as Bane. Okay, Patriot Front clashes with the resistance. Protests by rival far-right and left-wing groups in Richmond descend into violence, as opposing sides engage in clashes, and at least one man was arrested for firing a gun into demonstrators. You as Bane? Well, it's like the Dark Knight Rises, right? Nobody was hurt in exchange for the gunfire, and by Sunday evening, there was no word of any injuries in numerous other skirmishes that saw opposing sides brawling, dousing each other with what appears to be bear spray, and breaking the windows of rivals. Okay. And... okay. I will say, a lot of these events start off very similar. Like, it looks like this is what we've already read. Isn't it 66.6? Because the text says that 61.6 is how much is on the positive side. I'm honestly not too sure. It's a little hard to tell. It says it won 60%. So maybe we're already... I mean, it says high. So maybe we're already good. I'm not too sure. But I mean, if everything collapses anyways, it's not that big of a deal. You want B-side thumbnails? Nah. I don't think we need the B-side ones. In the wake of the death of African-American civilian named Quentin Evans, police custody, 100,000 have gone out into the streets to protest in a show of force not seen since the Los Angeles riots decades ago. The specific circumstances regarding the man's death are still somewhat vague, as a trial regarding the incident has not yet come to pass. However, footage of the yet unnamed officer holding his knee upon Quentin's neck while he states that he can't breathe has stirred the emotions of millions, causing liberal and left protest groups alongside uncoordinated members of the African-American community to take part in a nationwide protest. Already, we have reports of escalation in Quentin's home city, Minneapolis. Okay, so some of the events are not because again, it was supposed to be in Richmond, right? Not in Minneapolis. Okay, we can worry about that afterwards. I can't do anything about it, but maybe someone else can. Okay.